basically our 13 and 14-year-olds play on a full-size field, and anybody younger than 13, 14 plays on the smaller fields, and there's plenty of those in town. But currently, our 13 and 14-year-olds have been playing, practicing and playing in just like an open field at the fairgrounds, because they haven't had access to a full-size baseball field. So basically what we're here is asking at the potential of any help that we can get from the city and the Parks and Recs Commission to just help find us access to a full-size baseball field in town. I don't know exactly what that would look like, or we've kind of talked about the Columbia County Fair, them possibly donating a piece of land that they might be open to that, and seeing if we can work together with them on getting together and producing another field in town. But I don't have a ton of, I was basically here hoping that we can get talks going about possibly another field in town.
Thank you for that background, Matt. Brian, did you want to add anything else? I know I see that you turned your video on too, so just wanted to check.
Yeah, we're in the coming year, especially if they start doing the high school field, a lot of kids aren't going to be able to play because we won't have a full set field to play on.
Okay.
So we're just kind of planning ahead, trying to get ahead of things. Okay.
Have you talked to anybody at the city about it yet? Or is this kind of first step?
This would be first step,
Okay.
Just getting on here. And, basically what the fields in town are set up for the smaller size, the 60-foot bases and 200-foot fence. And what we need is somewhere that'll allow us at least 300 feet down the lines and at least 350 feet to center field, and 90-foot bases. And we've kind of bounced around to the different fields in town, and nothing's really set up for us to expand a field. Although I know that there might be some softball fields that are left unused, or if the Columbia County Fair and Rodeo is willing to provide us some property, then all we would need to do is put up a backstop. I don't know if we have an extra backstop, and then just put in some labor time in turning it into a baseball field.
Okay.
So that's kind of our ideas on that stuff.
Okay. Let's go for it. I don't have background on all this, so dive right in.
Carmen, may I say?
Yeah, please do. Yep.
Matt, this is John Burrington. It's not ready just yet, but there's a piece of property on Ross Road that is a ball complex of some type has been talked about being put up there. One of them was to include a full-size baseball field, and I think that we were going to also try and include 2 shorter fields, softball. I'm not sure where the process. We had control of that property, then we didn't. Now we do again, I think. And I'm not quite where everything is in the process and what could be done. But it's. I would think that it's not too far off with some work. At least the outline of a field or fields can be put in, or a design for it, and then we can go from there. So I think we need. I'm not sure who we need to talk to. We talk to Matt, or who do we need to talk to, Carmen?
Yeah, I was going to say, if Matt's on the line right now, so if he has any info that he can provide, that would be amazing.
I was planning on just listening, but
too bad.
I just had a sneaking suspicion that I should probably log on just for the heck of it.
And Shauna has her hand up too as well. So
yeah, and I don't want to impede on Shauna and what she's doing. I can fill you in on the Ross Road property where we stand right now, just because that was brought up. So currently there's 3 parcels up there. The city owns 2, the school district owns 1. The one that is most needed, which is the one that's kind of connected to the church property up there. And it's where they do golf practice and several other things there right now. The city does have an interest in acquiring that property from the school district. It, however, is contingent on us selling our Millard Road property to have the funds available to purchase that. And so until that Millard Road property, which is often referred to as the old hospital property, until that property is sold, we will not have the funds to essentially purchase that. And even if we were to somehow finagle and purchase it tomorrow, it would still probably be at least 2 years before anything is developed, because that will have to be a bond project that is approved by the voters, because we will not have the money, cash available as a city to build an entire complex there. You are correct in that there are initial plans we're going through with a idea study to kind of show what it could potentially look like with a couple different softball fields. We did throw in one baseball field in there, and then a soccer field, as well as a complex building up there as well. So it's very initial kind of drawings of what that may look like, and very rough draft. It's basically there to let the school district know that, yeah, we have an interest in this property. This is what we'd like to do with it. This is what it could look like. But there's a lot of planning stages on top of that.
Thank you for that update, Matt. Shauna, did you have something else you wanted to add to?
Yeah, so thanks for coming today, Brian and Matt. I know that I've spoken to both of you on several occasions about the lack of baseball fields. One thing that we're moving forward with is a new master plan for the city spaces that we have currently. And that's something we'll be working on to look at different things that we're lacking out here. And I understand the need for more baseball fields and other sports fields as well. Just off the top of my head, like you all said, there's nothing that rings a bell that would be a good spot for that currently. Not to say that that's not something that can't be in the future, but as for a quick fix, is the middle school not going to do a baseball field anymore there at all?
So I met with the head of our facilities who is looking over those plans, and they were planning on putting on a field, and they put up a backstop at the new field, at the new school, but the center field is too short. And they were kind of unaware of that. The center field is about 250 feet, which wouldn't allow us to play those 13, 14-year-old games. It'd be too short. So that's, and they were kind of unaware of that, just because the dynamics behind baseball field sizes, and everybody plays on different sizes. And so that was kind of the first he heard of it. And that was 2 weeks ago. So yeah. I think right now they're planning on just putting in a small field in that spot.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to keep the conversation going, especially with the new master plan. And like Matt said, if we acquire that Ross Road property, what that could look like. I think as a short-term fix, I think the fairgrounds is a good idea, because I do know that they have some different property up there with like Asbury Acres and stuff. I'm not sure how they're utilizing that. But I mean, I would love to brainstorm with you all whenever. I don't think we have a quick fix right now. The softball fields that we have are all in use quite a bit. You know, the adult softball and then Campbell Park are used, 5 to 7 days a week. So any flexibility there, I don't see those being good options right now. But not to say, once we look at the master plan and look at some other spaces that we have, to see how we can utilize things better and get spaces for everyone to be able to play their sports and stuff is important to me as well.
Right. Well, we really appreciate that. And, we were kind of hoping that, especially if the fairgrounds is willing to donate that land, even if we could just, whether it's a city or if somebody has an extra backstop that they can help install. And then, if we can help with, we could probably make it pretty cheap if somebody was able to donate some land just to get some usable field in place. We don't want anything brand new, because that's coming to the high school, which is we're really excited about. But I think we're a couple of years out on that. And especially when construction starts on that, then there's no fields in town. And even our high school players will be out of a field. So it'd be great if we could get something temporary. That'd be really helpful.
As
yeah,
the fairgrounds.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Shauna.
Oh, I was just going to say, have you checked with Superintendent Stockwell to see if there's any funds that are available for like a temporary space? I know there was some funding that got trickled down this summer for different stuff. So maybe there's some resources there that might be a good option as well.
Yeah, I can definitely check with him and in the school district and see what we can come up with for sure.
Yeah, I think with our budget that we have for parks right now, it's all allocated. So it would definitely be a 2022, 2023 type of ask if we were to help with anything. that this year's has already been set and allocated for different things right now. So I'm not sure how much we could help with that.
Okay.
Matt, is it possible to come down to City Hall and get a look at what's being proposed, coming under city's control, how a ball field might fit in there?
Absolutely. That would be that would be great if we could be in that discussion. Mhm.
Yeah, I think I want to go down and take a look first, and then maybe we can get a hold of with you and Matt, and I could all get together and take a look and talk about what's possible, and maybe maybe a rough hewn one is even possible sooner than you think, because I mean, we are talking about school age kids and school district stuff too. So, Matt, congratulations on the job.
Thank you.
We're proud of you.
Yeah, it all worked out. Really excited to be back in town, and the future is bright for St. Helens baseball, so that's always good. Got a lot of good players coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to add is that having the partnership with the school district through Parks and Rec is having a master plan of how we can help facilitate these sports and spaces and stuff. Because I know even like with gyms and basketball, there's some, opportunities there and stuff. So hoping that we can get it filled under more one location so we can work really good together as partners and not have competing things going on, and just be really great with the space that we have. So that is something I'm looking forward to. And I'd love to explore ideas more with you, Matt, on how we, integrate, some, just little recreation clinics or whatever. And same thing with you, Brian, that we can help facilitate that, because we are for the kids, all of us, and however we can help with that is definitely in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really excited about the new fields they're going to put at the high school. It sounds like they're going to have lights, which will double our field time. That way, when we get done with practice at 6 p.m., we can flip the lights on and our youth teams can come on. And so that'll open up a lot of field time. And just that integration between high school and our youth programs. I think that's really important. It's just saying, just success overall. So that's something we're really looking forward to.
Are they talking about a turf field at high school?
I think so. I think they're talking at least one is the hope. It's still kind of unsure for a couple of years, but I think from what I've heard is they're talking 1 to 2 turf fields for each softball and baseball. But I know lights are also a hope. And that, I think that'd be huge, especially for our youth, our little league, our JBL, our softball programs, to be able to come in and turn the lights on and have more field time.
And Howard, you had something to add?
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, if we're talking about ball fields and we've already got 2 lots out of 3 and the school district has gotten rid of ball fields and stuff, since we're in a agreement with them, could the school district maybe cut us a pretty good deal on that piece of property, since we're talking about building ball fields for their players? That's my question.
Howard, I'm happy to touch on that a little bit. I think they are looking to sell the property for a fair market price. And the anticipation is that the funds from whatever the sale price will be agreed on is going to go towards facilities at the high school to particularly pay for things like lights and turf. So they are, as much as we are anticipating selling them a large property and acquiring it, they are hopeful that we're going to acquire it so they have money to improve their facilities.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone else have anything to add on this topic? Great. Thank you so much for coming and bringing this to our attention. I would say that we do always have kind of the lack of fields and the shortage of fields in the city on our minds, and it does come up a lot at meetings. And so we will continue to keep that on our radar. And if there's anything else we can do, don't hesitate to jump back on the agenda and reach out to any of us.
Yeah,
Actually,
thanks so much
what
for
are the-
having us.
Yeah,
What
thanks a
ball
lot.
fields at Boise Cascade though? Are those full size or part size?
They're
not even-
softball field.
For softball.
Okay, there's a difference between the two. Okay, I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah, thank you all for having us on. I will reach out via email to you all and hopefully continue the discussion. But thanks for letting us get it started. And I do have a baseball game I got to shoot out to, but I look forward to coming back.
Thank you all. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right, I got to head to the ball game too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have fun, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Next up on the agenda, we have Citizens Day in the Park. Do we know who put that on
I
the
brought that up
agenda?
just because
Oh.
once again, we're the last to know about anything like this, like Citizens Day in the park. And I was just curious. I know a few years ago, the Parks Commission actually did put a table in Citizens Day in the park. And God, when I think of it, didn't we even have a banner made?
Yep,
It
we have a
probably has the
banner.
wrong name on it now.
That's okay. We can upgrade it.
know,
But yes,
the
we do
next-
have a banner.
And the next question would be is, do we have more of our brochures that we could be handing out at that? Do we want to put a table in at Citizens Day in the park and advertise our parks a little bit? Maybe we could give a little information about our parks, our nature parks and that type of thing.
Yeah, there's a meeting happening tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon or evening at McCormick Park. And I was planning to attend to see if we could get a table there and have our banner and just have some of us there, whoever's available. Shauna, I don't know if you have plans that would be good for us to kind of fit into based on what you already have planned.
Yeah, so we're planning a lot of stuff and we can touch on that more after we get it all approved. But yeah, I could definitely help with whatever is needed. If you guys want to do an activity, we have tons of activity stuff. It's on August 7th. I'm not exactly sure at the time yet because we're going to do the grand opening for the playground in the morning time, I believe. And then lunch type of thing with the burgers and everything. And then I think there's a band. And so it's going to be a pretty awesome day. That would be great to have you all a part of. And I can give you more information as I have it. I don't know the exact times. But we have a blow up archery set now. We have all sorts of stuff that we could do. So anything
Fun.
that you all want to do, I have a table. We can have it all set up. So all you have to do is come down and do the thing. And then, yeah, so I could keep you all posted on what that looks like, and definitely come to the meeting on the 14th if you have time to.
Okay.
And what time is that?
Where's it at?
I think it's at 6.
Where at?
McCormick Park at the
Oh.
Veterans Plaza. Yeah, and Paul, we definitely want you there to talk about
What was
the
that
stuff
date?
for the BMX stuff.
What was that date again? For the meeting?
It's on Wednesday, the 14th.
Oh, okay. So just in a couple days. Okay.
Yes.
Because I still have a fair amount of helmets too. So I was going to try to make those available and do some, some of the safety brochures for bicycling and pedestrian type stuff as well. So I've still got that stuff. So
That'd be great. And I have those bikes that we fixed up that we can give out too, if you want
Okay.
to.
all right. we can talk.
Yeah, and then we're painting the bike shed today and tomorrow. So that will be all done.
Oh,
But yeah, anyone who could show up on the 14th would be great.
I will put it on my calendar.
I'll be there on the 14th as well. So if anyone on the commission has ideas of what you'd like to have us do, or if you want something specific at our tables, let me know and I can bring it up and then I can report back on the plans.
I'd man the table for a few minutes or a little bit too.
Okay. Sounds good. You brought up the brochures, Howard, and I haven't seen, I don't know if we have any of those printed or if we can get those printed.
I mean, I
That
hope
makes
there's some
sense.
left. I don't know where they went after we did that. Did Matt end up with them or something? I'm
I
not
don't know,
sure.
It's been.
We have a
so long
number
since we've
at
been in
City
person.
Hall. There's a number of them at the front of City Hall with the rest of the brochures and everything. You can definitely take some of those.
Okay.
It is as a PDF on the website, so it's formatted so you can print it on a regular 8.5 by 11 paper. We can have those
Okay.
printed in-house, and you can hand those out as well.
That would be great.
Yeah, I can get all that stuff. I'll
Okay.
work on that.
Awesome. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help with it, Shauna. If you just get them all printed, I'm happy to take them and fold them and do all that. So.
Did we have a big fold off when we did it the last time? We were like,
Yeah, we did. We were folding as we were at our table. It was fun. And then I think Thad still has the banner. Does anyone know? Has anyone used the banner since I gave it to Thad?
I forgot all about it till the other week.
Okay, I'll touch base with him and make sure he still has it. Shauna, unless you know offhand if you've seen it laying
I
around.
don't know, but I can ask him. I'll see him tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And if you want, we could get, we officially changed our name, right? Do you want me to get a new one made? I can ask Andrew at Bemis.
Yeah, we had it printed at, where did we have it printed at, Lynn? Do you remember? You're on mute.
I can't remember the name of the business, but it was on Highway 30 in town.
Oh, digital graffiti probably.
But I'm not sure it's open anymore.
Okay.
Oh, are you
Yeah,
probably
probably Joe with digital graffiti probably did it.
Yes,
But Andrew at
that was
Bemis
it.
does it
That
too.
was it. Is he
I
still
could check
open?
with both of them and get something going.
Okay, because we had the design and everything. I think we just need to update the name of it.
And we had 2 signs made
Yep.
for us, and I think one was going to Alyssa and one to you. So if you gave one to Thad, somebody else must have the other one.
I think one went to Thad. I had one for a while and I passed it off to somebody. So we can track them down, but if the name isn't relevant anymore, we can use it if we don't have a new one and then maybe add it to our list of things to get going forward. But
Sounds good.
Does anyone else have ideas of like an activity or anything you would like us to do at our table? I can try to think of some stuff, but. Okay, I'll come up with something. All right, anything else? Citizens Day in the Park?
Sounds good.
Okay. Next up is old business, botanical garden update and report. Jerry is not here today, and he was going to do an update on the botanical gardens. But Brandon, I think you were also going to look into the history a little bit, and I'm not sure if you had a chance to do that or have any updates.
I didn't find out a whole lot other than it shows up on a list of projects that were done in 1976 as a centennial project, or bicentennial project. Lots of different communities around the country were doing kind of community improvement projects for the country's bicentennial. And so apparently that was one of them, was the development of a botanical gardens. We've talked about it briefly before, but it was mainly, the land was donated by 2 different families, the Savetich family and the Brownlow family. And both of them still have family in the area today. So there are, the ones that I talked to didn't know a lot about the particulars about why it was named that or anything like that. But so just kind of some basic things. I don't know a whole lot about it. Jerry's touched on the fact that it used to be an old quarry. And so it was a quarry site. I know he's mentioned a few times one possible name being something like the old Italian quarry or something like that. I don't know that the Italians had as big of an impact as Jerry maybe thinks they did, but so I don't know that that would be an appropriate name, but definitely was a quarry. So some things to think about.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for looking into it.
Yeah.
It's always interesting what you find out. We'll add it to the agenda for next time too, so that Jerry can give his update and then we can potentially talk about naming and throw out some ideas for naming, because we've talked about that in the past as well. Does anyone else have anything to bring up about botanical gardens? All righty. Next up is master plan idea list updates. I didn't hear anything specific come through on our running list today, but is there anything anyone would like to discuss related to that today?
Carmen, do you mind if I say a quick thing?
Oh, go for it.
I know this next fiscal year, the city would really like to redo its 2015 Parks Master Plan because we've had a lot of changes. And so this list is going to become ever more important from you guys as far as what you see in other parks, what's needed, and what your dreams are, thinking big. And that goes for every single park. So I would really love to see a large list from you guys of things you want to see at each park, because that's going to help Shauna and myself and Mohammed when we update the Parks Master Plan to know what this specific committee would like to see. So if you could everyone really revisit that list and get a great list of stuff. And we're talking everything from, oh yeah, there should be a drinking fountain at this park, to, oh yeah, there should be a playground or a water splash pad in this park, or we want those kind of ideas so that it can help us in the future.
Awesome. That's exciting. Before I forget, Sherry, can you add to the agenda? I know we have this as a running old business, but can you add something for next time for new business of master plan ideas so that we can talk about that a bit more and have more discussion around it?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, Howard.
Yeah, also I was wondering if we do have kind of a little bit of a running list, since it's been running for a while. Is there a chance that it's written down somewhere where we could see kind of what's been suggested so far? So we know what we've been thinking of. I've forgotten what I may have added to it and not.
Yeah, it's attached to our agenda every time. So it's in our agenda packet, the running list that has some random things. It doesn't have everything that we've ever talked about on there, but since we started the running list, Sherry's really good about adding to it. Thank you, Sherry.
I just don't know if I ever saw it listed somewhere, but I'll look the next time.
Yeah. It's the last page in our agenda packet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just send out the agenda every month by email, but you can go on the website and look at the whole packet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Let's see. Next up, we have discussion items. I have a few things, but does anyone else want to go first for random discussion items? Lynn, go for it.
All right. I have several things. The donation money for the Parks and Trails is now in the city fund. So that can be used when you're ready. And I believe that was going to Dalton and Godfrey. Was that the correct? Okay.
Yep.
And I will be absent for the August meeting. I had to make reservations 9 months ago. So I will not be here on August 9th for the meeting. And we're going to schedule a work party, try again, for the 24th of this month, which is Saturday, 9 to 12, barring any 100-degree heat. So that's all actually I could give you a few things that happened with Dalton that I'm excited about because it's taken over a year. But we now have a dedicated sergeant, Sergeant Eustace from the St. Helens Police Department that I was able to meet while walking around with Public Works people to mark where our new benches and kiosks are going to be all over the park. When I came out, he says, I saw 2 police cars parked right there at the south entrance. And he says, oh, you must be Lynn, you know, and held out his hand. And I was so happy to see this because now they're patrolling Dalton Preserve and are looking also for campers in the area. And that has been a big concern for a lot of people from all over. So right at this moment, there are no campers in the area. And let's see. Yeah, so we've got our second bench, not bench, but our bike rack will be put in, and the kiosk at the very front of the Rutherford Parkway on the south side. So there is our entrance at the north end, and then the others. And we're also having a bench put on the overlook. And the third bench will be put at the second trail that goes right onto the Columbia. So we already have one bench there, but the second trail is not going to get a bench. And there's other things in the works right now and trying to make a comprehensive list for signage and noting private property and where the boundaries are going to be. So a lot going on, kind of just getting together. Our committee is going to meet on Thursday and talk about all these items. And I'm going to send you the list of updates for our master plan so that if you're discussing those in August, then you'll have our ideas.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. For you mentioned private property signage. I'm just curious about that. Are you coming up with like standard signage to post at the edges of the property line, or what's the plan?
For years, people have used what was called the south entrance. It's a trail you first come to when you're parking at the road department. And it was suggested by the sergeant that we have a sign there that says no camping, no fires, private property patrolled by St. Helens PD.
Got it. Okay.
So that's pretty clear.
Okay.
And still working on getting information on access to the south entrance, because so far we don't have anything from St. Helens. It's all in the hands of private property. So, so working on that, and I'll let you know if anything changes.
Awesome. Thank you,
That's
Lynn. Does anyone else have updates they want to give today? Go ahead, Howard.
Okay, I've got a couple. Let's see. The Scappoose Bay Watershed Council, I believe they said that they're going to start working with a restoration group on the blackberries on Wednesday along the 5th Street right away. So we should start to see some work going there. And that probably raises a question. If Sherry's out there somewhere, I need to probably try to catch up with you in the next few days, because I'd like to see if we have a spare copy to that water spigot by the sewage treatment plant, but in the park, there's a water spigot that you guys put in for us. And I'm wondering if they're going to be doing some chemical treatment and stuff, if it wouldn't be wise for us to get them a copy of the water key so they would have access to water down there, you know. Also, I can't pull it up on my phone, but someplace Caroline listed all of our hours. Once again, probably Sherry. I don't know if you could find that, Sherry, in a couple of minutes, or someone else. Did we? I don't know who else we sent it to.
She emailed it. I have it in my email, so I'll pull it up. Let me find it.
Okay, we can get back to that in a minute.
Okay.
You know, the next question I would have is, we talked about a little while ago that there were going to be forms for the friends groups to fill out, and so that we could actually on the webpage and on the city's web pages and stuff start listing our things. And that was a month ago, and I'm wondering if that's gone anywhere.
So Kathy and I have been working through the volunteer program. I think we're almost at the end of it all with all the legal stuff to present it to council and then get blessings to put it on where it needs to go. For volunteering, we do have our just regular volunteer forms that we had before as well. But yes, it has been an ongoing work in progress, but there has been a few different things we've had to tie or get fine-tuned before releasing to the public.
Okay. And then let's see what else. I was wondering if many people have been walking the waterfront lately. I know a few weeks or a month and a half, a month or so ago, the city went down and did a huge clearing project of all the butterfly bushes that were growing down on the veneer plant property. And then they decided to start mowing some of the blackberries along the tops of the hills. And it's been brought to everybody's attention now that there used to be a beautiful fir tree that's actually been shown as with holiday decorations and everything else down there along the waterfront. And it was basically shredded to the ground. And we also had one beautiful madrone that was like 4 inches in diameter at the base at least, and 5 or 6 feet tall and encompassed 6 feet. And that was totally shredded down there. And some of the blackberries, oh, well, they must have run out of time because there's still a bunch of blackberries down at the upriver end of it. And so I'm starting to wonder if there's a way for us to somehow, especially in areas like that, these two things that got shredded, they were things that were on the way to growing. And is there a way for us to try to know when some things like that would be happening so that we wouldn't lose things? Is there a way to come up with general ideas to show people that sometimes a fir tree growing along that waterfront property isn't the worst thing in the world, or a nice madrone is starting to grow up, you know? So that's something for all of us to think about, if there's a way to try to help protect some of these things that are starting to grow up, because I know we talk about beautifying that waterfront and stuff, and we shouldn't just leave all the ratty stuff behind and then the few things that are coming in that are good get shredded, you know? So I don't know where we want to go with that. And then the last one is, since so many groups are starting to meet in person, are we going to start thinking of meeting in person again?
Sherry has her hand up. She might have some feedback on that.
Two things. First of all, Howard, if you want to look at the lock on that water spigot and then give me a call, let me know what is on there, and then you can come by and check out a key for it.
Okay. Thank you.
And then as far as meeting in person, that'll have to come from Kathy Payne at City Hall when we want to start doing that.
Okay.
I can update you on the live meeting. We do have a test later this week for live streaming on our website for city council meetings. Our plan right now is that the meeting on the 21st for city council, we are planning to be in person. If that is successful with everything, then after that date, we will begin to have planning commission and parks committee meetings, parks and rec commission meetings in person.
All right, thank you.
And question on that, Matt, has it been discussed if it's in person, allowing for both in person and virtual if somebody can't make it in person, or it's all or nothing sort of a thing?
In our current system, we will not be able to do Zoom.
Okay, got it.
We do anticipate, we're doing some IT upgrades after the 21st that should help incorporate Zoom, but it has been the desire of the city council to not use Zoom during meetings unless we have a participant that has to attend. So it will not be open to the public through Zoom, so to speak. It will just be streamed directly on our website.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. And Howard, I think you brought up the issue with the stuff getting cut down on the waterfront last meeting as well. Yeah. But I like your idea of if there's some way that we can identify stuff like that so that when people are doing clearing, they know. I almost wonder if there's like some kind of survey tape we could use if we know that there's going to be clearing happening a certain time of year in a certain area or something. If we could flag things with survey tape, or I don't know, then it kind of, I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind when you brought that up.
Yeah, that was
anyone else has ideas.
Our thought too. Yeah. And did you happen to find the hours that the email hours?
I pulled it up. I forgot by the time you got to the end of the update, but I have the email up, so I'll go ahead and read it. This is from Caroline. Here is a recap of volunteer time done January through June 2021 on city property at Nob Hill and 5th Street Row. Nob Hill regular 78 hours, work party 51 hours, grand total 129 hours. And then at 5th Street Row, regular was 15 hours, Work party, 52 hours, grand total 67 hours. So lots of volunteer hours. And then the additional update was we worked on 5th Street last night. We watered the skunk cabbages and some of them are alive, but the trail had become very overgrown along the boardwalk. So we cut back reed, canary, and blackberry by hand along the edge. The native red twig dogwood seemed to be multiplying and they are doing great. We didn't see any obvious heat damage other than the cut ivy on tall trees. It has turned red-brown. We're happy to see that. So that was the update. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Alrighty. Anyone else have, oh, Lynn, go ahead. You're muted.
I just wanted to say how important communication is between the city and everybody that you're involved with for the parks, or for outside of that, you know, if you have other entities that you have to consider. A lot of people for the last couple of years have been told me of their concern that the beaver dams had been taken down at the Dalton Preserve, and not happy about it at all. Finally, I called the Division of State Lands and they said, yes, at that area, they should have a permit to not only take the beaver dams down, but to lay any kind of gravel without a permit. So just info for future use, or just so people know, because there is quite a bit of concern.
Thank you, Lynn. Does anyone else have discussion items that they want to bring up today? Brandon?
I just had a couple things. Howard and Lynn have already kind of touched on this idea of communication, but I just wanted to see if there was anything we could do to maybe improve communication among this group and then also the city. Seems like there's a lot of things going on. So I read in the newspaper about a grant that Parks and Recs received. Saw on Facebook that the McCormick Park Playground is open. It just seems like there's some things like that that this commission should know about. So whether it's a weekly email or just something to kind of give us a heads up about what's going on, so we don't have to hear about it other places. I don't know if there's any ideas or if that makes any sense, but.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I get the press releases from the city, and that's how I find out. That's how I found out about, I think, I don't know, a number of things. I get updates that way through the press releases. But I don't know if it makes sense, if it's too much overhead to do weekly emails and maybe bi-weekly or something like that, updates that we can get on big things that are happening.
Just seems like there's a lot that goes on within a month's time that we meet.
Yeah,
there's a lot happening that it would be nice to know about some of those things.
agreed.
Mhm.
I think those
Are
are
they-
fair suggestions. I think one thing we have to keep in mind that there's just a lot of moving parts going on as well. And the press releases are when the public, which you all are part of as well, get notified about like the grants and stuff. So it wouldn't make much sense for me to prepare something that Crystal's already preparing something to email out. And honestly, I don't have the bandwidth to do that sort of thing. The McCormick Park thing was a little bit of a different opportunity there. And I do agree that the commission should know next time when it's going to be opened. We had a hard time keeping folks off. So that was what we decided was the best way to go about it. And it was a very quickly done. People were fighting all over Facebook about it, that sort of thing. So yes, I'm big on communication. So as far as opening playgrounds and things like that, I think that's something we'll have better knowledge in the future at our Parks and Rec meetings that we can talk about what that looks like and how the progress is going. There was a lot of limiting factors that happened this time around. But as far as the grants go and things like that, I would say those will probably be things that you will hear about in a press release, because it wouldn't make sense for me to write up something when Crystal's already writing up something and releasing it. If that makes sense. Now, if we wanted to work on grant opportunities and get updates through those, that's totally appropriate and stuff too. But I apply for a lot of grants she pushes it out. As soon as I hear about it, I send the information to her, and then she issues a press release at that point. So.
John?
Did they already have the official grand opening for the play equipment?
No,
Is there
that will
any?
be on Citizens Day.
When is it?
That's on Citizens Day. On the
What day is
7th.
Citizens?
And so I'd really recommend everybody sign up for the press releases as well, because I know that this has been with a meeting on the 14th and that sort of thing has been, asked for people to come and join. So I think there's some due diligence for our own selves to keep informed as well. And, my phone's always open if you have a question and stuff. This grant cycle, we got a lot of grants this summer, which was really awesome, but Crystal released those the day after I found out. So by the time I wrote something up and told you all, you would have known about it through the press release already.
I think that makes sense. Is everybody signed up to get the press releases? Do you all get those through your email? Yeah. Okay.
Get them.
Okay.
I think Sherry might have a question. And as far as, the cutting back things on the waterfront, I don't know the whole story to that. I haven't been involved in that part. I do know that we did some blackberry trimming around the park area for viewing of the fireworks, and it was getting a little bit out of control there. And so as projects come up for that waterfront area, I'll have some conversations on what that looks like, but you'll probably want to stay really engaged with the different discussions about the phases and stuff, so you know what's going on. Will be really part of the focus, as well as making sure that you're getting the information you need as well.
Sherry?
Just want to make a comment about the beaver dams. In the past, Public Works has taken them out because Vector Control has asked us to, because in the summer when the water's not moving, it gets stagnant and creates huge mosquito problems. So perhaps the people doing the salmon habitat and the city and Vector Control need to get together and discuss this issue about whether to take them out or leave them in.
And they are. Thank you, Sherry.
Okay, thanks.
Did anyone else have anything to add on the communication piece? Okay. And any other updates, or should I jump into my discussion items real quick?
Jump in.
I'm jumping right now. You can't see it, but I am. I just wanted to say huge shout out to everybody on the city staff who made the McCormick Park Playground happen. It is, if you haven't been down there, it is so cool. We went down this weekend and we only had a short time to spend there, but it was full. I mean, there were so many kids out there and parents, and I was just standing there observing, and so many parents unsolicited feedback about how great it was, and it was awesome. It was great to see so many people there, but it didn't feel packed and overly crowded. Everything is spread out really well. The kids love the zip line. Like, it's awesome. It's really cool. So hats off to everybody who was involved in that and making it happen. It's cool. And also wanted to add one thing that did come up in feedback was park benches. And if there's going to be park benches around, I assume there is going to be once all the grass is done. And the feedback that I got was just making sure that there's some that are in the shade for the hot sunny days, as well as for the rainy days, kind of under those trees. So just wanted to pass that along.
Yes, that's definitely in the phase 2 of everything. There was a lot of
Perfect.
A lot of learning experiences that have happened from this. And Carmen, you were a huge part in, going and looking at other ones and kind of revamping the idea of how we're going to make it all accessible. Things were a little different than a lot of opportunities, a lot of delayed parts, weather issues, grass planting, and benches are on that next phase. But before I can say exactly where those are going to be, I want to have everything open so we can see what it looks like. And I've been going down there daily to kind of get an idea of, where would be the best place to have this for the parents and what kind of bench would be best and that sort of thing. So that definitely is in the phases of getting this playground exactly where it needs to be. We should be getting our new picnic tables and trash cans this week. And so we'll be looking at what the assembly and installation looks for that. We're going to start with McCormick Park and Columbia View and see how everything works out there. And then we'll start looking at other parks to replace that. So we're really excited for that because it's going to bring a really cool look to the park. I think just the aesthetics will be great. And then also being able to just hose them off instead of having to paint them all the time and that sort of thing will be a nice change. Yeah, but McCormick Park opening is really exciting and it is packed every day. But like you said, there's plenty of space for everyone to do stuff.
That's awesome. Thank you. And there were people from Scappoose that hadn't been to the park before that were like, this is so cool. I'm like, yes, that's right. It's cool. It's awesome. I did a couple of other things on my list was the commission name change. I was wondering if anyone knew if that officially went to city council and got approved or not.
I want to say it has not, because I don't know that they've had a meeting since because I know they're, Sherry, do you know?
No, I was the one that brought that up to Carmen. I missed part of the conversation because I had somebody come in the front door, but I didn't know if it's gone to them yet or not.
I don't believe so. I'm guessing it'll probably be on the next agenda.
Yeah, it is on my notes to have Kathy put it on the agenda in our management meeting tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. So we should wait on getting new banners until we know for sure that it's approved.
Yes.
Okay, and then I think I already mentioned it, but Botanical Garden name change, we can talk about that next time when Jerry's back. And then I was curious about the annual report to City Council and how that went. If Paul's still on the line, Paul may have dropped off actually. Yeah, it looks like he did. So never mind. Elisa, I don't know if you were able to attend or if you got any updates from Paul.
I didn't get any updates from Paul. I did put together the presentation and I added made the edits that everyone suggested and corrected Brandon's name. I'm so sorry about that. And then sent it on to him, but I didn't hear how it went. So
okay, no worries.
I listened in and I think it went well. There's a lot
I agree. I think it went well too.
Good job.
Okay, good. Awesome. Thank you, Paul, even though he's not listening right now, but and thank you, Elisa, for putting it together.
Sure.
And then the only other piece I wanted to bring up is we've had Pat attend she's provided comments at some of our past meetings and she's provided comments about trails and stuff like that. And she had mentioned in the last meeting that she has some loops in St. Helens. And so I'm actually meeting her at 3:15 at Safeway tomorrow. So if anyone else is interested, we're going to walk one of the loops tomorrow. So if anyone is interested and wants to meet us there, you are more than welcome. And I will report back to you guys next meeting on how it goes, just to see how it aligns with Urban Trail, if there's overlap, and if we can incorporate kind of some of the loops that they have created into what we have. So if anyone wants more information on that, feel free to reach out to me too. And that is all I've got. Any other final items from anybody else? All righty, meeting adjourned at 5 o'clock. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.